What's up guys, Americano back here with another video. In this video, I want to walk you through some early signs of potential bottoms around the market, looking at all of our totals indexes. That's going to be total, total 2, total 2 ES, total 3, total 3 ES, and others. We've talked about things lining up for alt season in past videos, but if we are able to find a bottom here, these charts suggest that it could already be starting. So let's go ahead and dive in. Alright guys, I mentioned it in my other video this week. We only got about three videos coming out this week. I'm going to try to keep them pretty short. The picture hasn't changed even with all this Iran news and stuff like that. So we're just going to do a quick little update this week, and hopefully some more stuff has shook out by next week and we'll be able to cover a few more things. Do make sure you go check out my Bitcoin and Ethereum videos this week. But just like I mentioned in those videos, we still are trading within these ranges on all of these indexes that we're looking at. So we do not have confirmation on a direction yet. I've talked about getting some divergences to show up. I've talked about lower time frame things on the daily, but I do want to go through these charts looking on a little bit of a higher time frame, something like the 3-day, where when I mentioned in my Bitcoin and Ethereum videos as well, but where we are also seeing, even in these charts and these indices, 3-day momentum starting to curl. So the first chart we have up here is going to be total. So it includes Bitcoin, it includes Ethereum, it includes stable coins as well. But we have a couple confluences on here. We have times that we've dipped into oversold territory on the 3-day, kind of few and far between. This area in here, this bottom in here, and now where we are currently. Like I said, I talked about my theory on why I think we'll make new all-time highs in 2026, why I think we'll have the alt season that everybody was and has been waiting for. A lot of people have flipped bearish or calling this bear market. I'm not particularly in that camp. We talk about that in other videos, so this is me just pointing out some. So long as those dynamics continue to play out, we could be looking at this thing working on turning around. So 3-day momentum getting extremely oversold. Let me go ahead and check on here, add this divergence indicator. Yes, but it looks like similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. Starting to get this 3-day divergence showing up on total, which historically we do not see very often. We still do have a lot of work ahead. You can see when we dipped into this oversold area, similar to how we are here, we got this divergence to show up. We still actually had another flush lower before it was able to confirm. So none of what I'm showing here does offer a confirmation. None of what I'm showing here means that we have to find a bottom and instantly reverse from here. I just do want to point out that we had monthly closes, we had others BTC, Bitcoin dominance, all those charts that we've been following close exactly where we would have wanted them on the monthly. So if we do get follow through from this 3-day momentum, things are going to be looking up or looking rather bright rather quickly. That was just total, so that's just the overall market cap of crypto. All right, when we do total 2, same exact exercise, right? You can see found these bottoms in here, found these bottoms in here, where that coincides with. So I do want to point out it's a little bit cleaner when we look at total 2. You can see this divergence showed up in here in this green area. This one actually showed up just before. So I know in the last example I was like, hey, we had this divergence, but we still have this flush. This one technically was just before. We can count it as if it was together, just like the last example. And then now we're on the third time in the history of total 2 where we have been this oversold on the 3-day time frame. So it's my belief that if we can get this stuff to continue to roll up, again, with these other charts that we have that look really good, like others BTC, I do think we could be finding a bottom in here quicker than a lot of people do assume. All right, more of the same on total 2 ES in here. I'm not even going to really draw on this. I'll let you guys just take this one in. So it's the same as total 2, just minus the stable coins. Same kind of pullbacks into these green areas. Same bullish divergences showing up, macro bull divs. Historically, that's marked lows for these ranges, and then one other time in past cycle where we did have to make a new lower low after that. And pretty much the same thing goes for total 3 as well. I'm not going to show the 3-day chart on this one. I do want to point out something that holds true on the weekly chart of all the charts that I just showed you. So we'll go ahead and get this up here. But when we do look at the weekly momentum of these charts, and I somewhat talked about this in videos last week, just kind of reiterating the fact we are in a similar point. When we were able to close underneath this line being the area we're currently at on weekly momentum on these charts. And I say close below it because these are the only two options. We have to go off the weekly closes. So the bar before this was above this line. So the nearest bar after that is going to be the one just underneath it the following week. Where does that put us? Again, we covered this in videos last week as well. But where does that put us? Well within where total 3, where Ethereum, where a lot of things were able to find a bottom back in 2022. If we add this 3-day chart, so you can see this same kind of green area that we were talking about in other charts in this video, you can see where that falls as well. So now I think everything is pretty much just about observing. If you don't have a plan for how you're allocating, what you're allocating into, how you're taking advantage of these cheaper prices, I don't know what to tell you. This is definitely the place to be doing so in. Even if you think there's another leg lower, even if you think whatever you think, just looking at these charts here, how oversold we've gotten. No matter the chart we look at, no matter if we're looking at total 2 or total 3, anytime we've gotten down to these areas, it has been a time to purchase cheap crypto. Now, if you're somebody who thinks we still have to go through the 4-year cycle and it's going to be another 4 years before we see anything, or if you're somebody who thinks like me and thinks we're going to see a new all-time high in 2026, that's up to you. But not allocating to crypto at these prices seems a little bit silly. And what I try to show in these charts as well is that as long as ETH BTC, Bitcoin dominance, others BTC keeps moving in the right direction, things are looking really good for our totals and total 2s and total 3s and others on actual price charts themselves. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Hopefully this video is insightful for you guys. Again, kind of just building off some of the things we talked about before, as well as alluding to some of the videos we talked about last week. So make sure you guys check those out if you have not already. If you guys need anything from me, questions answered, just make sure you drop them in the comments. I also have a link for my free Discord in my bio, so make sure you check that out as well. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.